Right now, I have a vendetta against everybody. Not a violent vendetta, but a vendetta against everybody who's been talking bad on my homeboy, my favorite person. Well, not my favorite person, but one of my favorite human beings on the earth or in the USA, Robert Kennedy Jr. I love that guy, man. One of the greatest guys on the earth to ever walk this planet. Most healthy 70-year-old I've ever seen on the internet, right? So he recently flipped the food pyramid, um, and all this sorts of jazz. And he also came out with the statement of, everybody can eat off of $3 a day, or you can feed a family off of $3 a day. And I was like, hell yeah, man, you sure can. And when Donald Trump or something like that happened, Donald Trump talked about it, and everybody started to slam him. Everybody started talking bad about it. I was like, dang, man, I couldn't enjoy, you know, Robert F. Kennedy's statement without the public destroying it because one other man said something about it. Like, I was like, fudge, man, I got real bad. And then people started making videos about, oh, how you couldn't survive off of $3 a day. I remember this one guy on YouTube. He made a video, pissed me off so bad. The guy was choosing the most expensive foods, and it was horrid. I was like, dude, of course you can't survive off of $3 a day because you're buying the most expensive foods, and then on top of that, you're buying stuff that's gonna last you forever. So in reality, if you go by per serving, the price per serving, you can really survive off of $3 a day. You just gotta go off of price per serving, not the price of the food, literally. But yeah, this made me start thinking: if people get this riled up for what politicians have to say, and it's really actually sound advice when you look at it, and people get riled up and want to argue about it and debate about it because it's something new to talk about and to complain about, what's actually happening? So, in reality, in the U.S., most people do not have to survive off of $3 a day. Um, I was surviving off of $3 a day when I was in high school working a part-time job because I couldn't work full-time because I was in school and an athlete, and I was making enough money to survive off of $3 a day working part-time as a teen. And I'm still a teen now. I probably do survive off of like $5 a day now, but no grown adult on earth is probably needing to survive off of $3 a day. That's grown and dependent on themselves, which is most people in the United States. So I started to think, let's make a video about how why the government subsidizes, I can't say that word, basic human needs. That intro was kind of long. Maybe it wasn't even an intro, but yeah. So the government does something called subsidizes, and they subsidize basic human needs. These include things like transportation, food cost, food cost and food funding, um, healthcare. No, I'm not a big fan of that. And various different needs that people run into. Now, the government makes sure that every taxable person making an income that's taxable is able to pitch in to these few things, right? Or these various of things. This helps fund these things, like better roads and all the other sorts of stuff. And a lot of this goes to people who are not financially there yet or don't have the means to, do their own thing and not have to rely on the government. So what this does is, to the people that are not able to rely on themselves and need help, assistance from the government, they can get that extra help, and then on top of that, they can start to focus on their careers and their finances to kind of get themselves out of that hole. And what that does is it gives more room for human value to increase for that person, which helps the economy do better because that person is making money, which is more money that's taxable, which taxable money is trackable for the government to track the value of the human dollar, which is also good for bonds. So countries that are outside of the US end up buying more US dollars because the US dollar is worth more than it was before. So if the government is able to subsidize basic human needs, that's less of what someone who is lower income or is in need, is something less for them to worry about. Still, they may have to worry about it. A lot of people typically still need to worry about it, but it increases their chances of not needing to worry about it later on. So that is the basic ground rules for why the government subsidizes basic human needs. And this also plays into the fact that people have children, right? We all are probably going to end up having children, most of us in the world. And if we can subsidize basic human needs and make things really affordable, like transportation in general, like public transportation, that way people can get around and find jobs and find better opportunity. Also, as well, that's education, paying teachers and whatnot. So kids can get a great education and end up going to prestigious colleges and qualifying for even better jobs and doing great things and whatnot. That is also a component of what happens when when we get subsidies from the government for certain things. But yeah, a lot of subsidies usually go to people who are lower class because they don't have the means for it. People who are middle class, like me, you, most of us, we don't really need those subsidies. And public transportation is already affordable for everybody, right? Some of these things are affordable for everybody. And then as well, like I said before, there's things like food prices where the government can kind of help out farmers keep their prices at a stable price that is affordable. That also makes it to where farmers can, be able to live a life with no fear of, a decline in the amount of money they have or comfort, or like risking comfort in their homes, because of various different factors, like things getting more expensive. They can pay for their cost of living as well as keep the prices lower, so everybody else can do well as well and pay less money for food and keep it at a good rate. So that is basically why the government subsidizes basic human needs, is so that we can have better chances at doing better and having more human value and adding on to society. If you understood what I was saying during this video, maybe you learned something, let me know down in the comments, or you can subscribe or whatever you like to do. If you subscribe, I pop up more on your feed. And if you like this video, maybe that's a good thing. Stay tuned for the next video. Usually it comes out, I'm posting every day now, I guess. And it's batch uploads of me in the same shirt on the same night recording these videos, multiple videos. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Goodbye. Have a great night, day, morning, whatever time it is. But yeah, peace out.